Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd use the word alarm. This is a cyber breach. I don't think it's going to cause lives. It's not going to draw blood. It doesn't have the ferocity of acts of terror, kind of. But at the same time frame, we have to do something about it. We're responding to way more breaches than the SolarWinds breach. You know, you've read about maybe in the last week 4 different zero-day attacks against Microsoft Exchange. Appears like that threat actor went a little bit broader than the SolarWinds attack. So long story made short, we have about 550 folks on the ground responding to breaches right now, and I'm not sure the climate's ever been worse for the amount of work that we have. And a lot of times, if you saw an alert on the screen, you could just push your chair back and say, hey, let's all come around and figure this out. I feel this was an indiscriminate week in cyber by the Chinese threat groups, Hafnium as Microsoft calls it. You don't want to spray and pray with a 0-day. The reason that was done is most likely the threat actors recognized the 0-day was coming up to end of life. So they just hit everything they could with it and put a backdoor in place. You know, they put the secret door in every single house in the neighborhood kind of thing. And that's what they did here. The backdoor that they put in place is exceptionally consistent with the Chinese threat actors. We don't have rules of engagement in cyberspace. Modern nations don't have rules they're playing by. And what I just saw was China doing something they don't normally do. So that means they're expanding, they're incrementing what they are thinking is permissible. So we're going to have to define rules. If we took real data today, because this is based on data from years ago, probably 6 years ago, the whole screen would be solid. You know, there might be some areas in here that aren't being attacked. It's infinite. I mean, honestly, the amount of attacks is as fast as packets can travel these days.
Right.
That's just nonstop. And then professional development, like that's how you learn at that age. Is you come into an office and you mingle with people and you just kind of open it. So how did the bar survive? How did the band survive? How did the arts survive? In cyber, if you really assess the domain, the United States is actually not really winning right now, in my opinion. If we hack back, it's like being in the glass house throwing rocks at a mud hut. Cyber is probably the wrong domain right now to exert force. It may be a domain to do some force, but I would think about diplomacy, alliances, economics, and applying some pressure in those things. Because if we get in a cage match in cyber, the United States is going to lose more than it probably gains against the adversary.
The Trump administration failed to prioritize cybersecurity. We can't let this go unanswered. That means making clear and publicly who is responsible for the attack and taking meaningful steps to hold them in account.
You know, governments were formed to protect their citizens. If we don't know who we're protecting from, we can't impose risk or consequence to those folks. So we got to know who did it. And that's going to take international cooperation. It's going to take supporting intelligence assets. It's going to have technical assets, human assets, whatever we need to do. But our allies can help. And I can tell you, everywhere in the world, the toleration for ransomware is coming down very quickly. People are getting tired of it.